as a.
All right, so let's watch. This is valuetainment. So this is remember Tenrio was talking about Patrick Bet David.
Yeah, he was telling us about that.
That's this guy.
Okay, let's see
This
what
is
he
the
has
guy
to say.
Tenrio's been trying to. This is the high level contact that Tenrio's been really working
Oh,
on.
no.
Spent half of his his personal net worth or whatever, and now they're ghosting him. Unhappy that drama going on in Cozy because he's really trying to get Nick on with Bet David. So here he is with Prager, I think.
You yourself, when you saw what was going on with Kanye, the things he was saying, and then boom, Adidas, and his marriage, and everything you listen to, his comments about Hitler on Alex Jones, and now he's been kind of low key for the last 6 weeks, which I think is a great idea. The fact whoever he listened to, good for him to kind of taking a break, and apparently
he's getting
low-key married to somebody that no one knows was done in a very low key way. Now I don't know if this is true or not. It's just what the media is saying. How did you process what he was saying about Jews? Were you upset? Were you frustrated? Were you saying, well, partially he's right about this, well, he's not right about this, I can't believe he said that? What feelings did you get when he was saying what he was saying?
Well, I don't work on feelings as much. I try to think through rationally. Look, I wrote a book on anti-Semitism. I have fought it all of my life. The book is called Why the Jews, and
you got to read that.
There's every population has a percentage of people who hate Jews.
What's his background? Is this a green screen? Is that a real wall? It's like a bank vault.
Gotta reach out and touch it.
Is that a mail? These PO boxes, safe deposit boxes. Are there signatures on them? I get that.
The biggest room they had is like with all the storage boxes.
There are a whole host of reasons why people might hate Jews. And as I point out in my book and in the piece I wrote on Kanye West, my columns, non-Jews need to know something.
I need more Tylenol. I'll be right back.
Anti-Semitism destroys societies. I'm not saying it because I'm a Jew. I'm saying it because it's true.
Yes,
no
you are.
You're a Jew. Survived anti-Semitism. Spain was one of the greatest world powers.
Hold on, what did he
just say? The Spanish
say?
Inquisition and the Spanish expulsion of the Jews.
Hold on. I'm not saying it because he's a Jew. It's because it's true. What did he say?
Anti-Semitism destroys societies. I'm not saying it because I'm a Jew. I'm saying it because it's true. No society has survived anti-Semitism. Spain was one of the greatest world powers. Then it had the Spanish.
You could also say that no society has survived Jewish influence.
Inquisition and the Spanish expulsion of the Jews in 1492.
Right.
And have you heard from Spain
Absolutely.
in the last 500 years?
I mean, that's where
it went downhill.
Look at Germany after World War II. We neutered it.
Kicked out its Jews. Germany was the most vibrant culture in Europe before Hitler. Most vibrant in.
Well,
wonder what happened.
I mean, was it the most vibrant culture?
Notice how he doesn't mention the years during Hitler's reign. He just kind of glosses over that.
Yeah, he also doesn't mention the massive calamity they were suffering due to World War I, which was Jewish communists that were destroying Germany. Like, wait a minute. You skip right over the communist revolution and the Bolsheviks and the Jewish pogroms and all the problems in Russia that flowed over to Germany, which would destroy Germany, which gave rise to what happened in World War II. It was the most vibrant culture before Hitler. Are you sure? Is that true? 20s Germany they were just having a great time, right? Is that how
I think we should show chat just what we're talking about here.
What do you mean?
Check DMs. All right, play that. Just go back like 15 seconds. Let's hear what he has to say about the vibrant culture.
Culture in Europe, its Jews. Germany was the most vibrant culture in Europe before Hitler. Most vibrant in the arts, in philosophy, in science, and then they.
Are you talking about like Weimar?
Yeah, I sent you something. Yeah, he is talking about Weimar, which according to Dennis Prager, keep in mind this Jew, was the most vibrant time in Germany. This is a so-called social conservative, anti-abortion, anti-porn guy, right? Base Jew. And he says Weimar was the most vibrant era.
The shops, because in the time between being paid and the time when they bought their goods, their food, the prices would have risen.
With virtually every currency in the world more valuable than the German mark, foreign tourists flocked into the city to take advantage of the cheapest sex on the continent.
Yo, base.
You had
Wait, I mean, no, that's not
tourists
good.
coming from all over the world. $10 in American money could buy you anything you wanted.
People were renting out their bodies, people that you wouldn't believe, like generals and their wives that couldn't have been terribly attractive, would engage in public sex in their living room.
Oh.
If there was any Japanese, Turks, or Americans who would
No.
pay for it, who would pay $1 for it.
With entire life savings disappearing through hyperinflation and desperate for hard currency, middle-class Berliners transformed their homes into houses of pleasure for tourists.
No.
There was one family that actually turned this into quite a high art form, if you like, from a pornographic point of view. They started a little club called Aleifa, which is an acronym in German for Alles eine Familie, which really means all in the family. And this was run by mum, dad, and 2 daughters, but it developed into a club where every possible sexual taste was catered for.
Bruh.
Hausfraus became harlots, teenagers turned tricks, and Papa became a pimp.
When you have unemployed, you also have an increase in sex workers. But it wasn't just Berliners. It was tens and maybe hundreds of thousands of young boys and young girls who were coming to Berlin to participate in this hard currency sex traffic.
Yo, this video was your idea, RJ? Come on, bro.
Anything known to man in the sexual world was available on the streets of Berlin.
On any given night,
You can put up a censor if you want.
100,000 prostitutes
It's
walked
gonna be
the
the whole
streets
thing.
or worked the sex clubs across the city.
This is
There were all different whores with
Crazy.
different kinds of makeup on the street. For instance, one was called
We
Mutzi.
don't have to watch the whole thing. Just give it a
okay.
taste.
So I guess this is this is what let's
Yeah,
hear what.
this is the most vibrant time.
So this was before Hitler, right? This was Germany right before Hitler.
The culture in Europe before Hitler. Most vibrant in the arts, in philosophy, in science. And then
Yeah. Is that right? Is that right? All those German philosophers before Hitler. Isn't that right? Wasn't it right in the early 1900s? No. Wait a minute. I'm thinking of, let's see, German philosophy. We got Nietzsche. Wagner was in that time, right? But we got Schopenhauer. Come on, go ahead. But that wasn't. First of all, it wasn't the peak of philosophy, but also it wasn't really right at that time. Am I right? Schopenhauer, Nietzsche was just a reaction to Schopenhauer. So who are the great German philosophers around that time? I don't remember. 1788 to 1860. Yeah, bro. That's way before.
Yeah.
homie.
Yep.
Way before.
No, he's talking about what we're watching. Make no mistake about it, chat. There's a clip. I don't know if they've seen it. It's of Dennis Prager saying the natural state of being is being a bisexual.
That's what Prager says.
Yeah, I'll try to pull up the clip if you. Let's find it.
Yeah. Wagner, 1813. What was the high art that anti-Semitism in Germany destroyed? What was the high art of the early 1900s in Germany? Somebody can let me know. I'm not thinking of it. It's not coming to mind.
Yeah.
It's not springing immediately to mind. The high art and philosophy that got destroyed by the anti-Semitism in Germany.
Maybe he's referring to Magnus Hirschfeld of the Sexual Institute that performed the first transgender surgeries, and
Maybe he's
maybe
referring
that's
to
what he's
that.
talking
Yeah,
about.
maybe that's it.
Yeah.
they had the Holocaust. What do you hear from Germany? Volkswagen? I mean,
based?
The economy is
What?
6 million Jews for a good car sounds good to me.
in philosophy and science. And then they had the Holocaust. What do you hear from Germany? Volkswagen?
Good
Yeah.
trade.
Yeah. Volkswagen. Remember we watched that video of the guy crossing the freaking desert in Africa with his dog, and he's just in like a old ass Volkswagen combi van from the 60s, and he's just handling the most insane terrain. It's still running. Yo, German engineering. Yeah, Volkswagen's incredible, by the way. Volkswagen was the Tesla of the 1960s, essentially.
I mean, what the economy is? Can people even name a living German?
What?
Bruh. I mean, after it was destroyed by Zog, and you're just like laughing about it. It wasn't anti-Semitism that destroyed it. It was the great Satan. I mean, it was attacked by communism and capitalism. It was attacked on both sides by Russia and the U.S. Yeah. So, and now you're like laughing. Okay. It's so funny. That's so funny. He laughs.
And what was done to Germany as a result of Hitler being in power, the Germans, the losses in Germany, the rape of German women by Soviet soldiers, it is
led by Jewish commissars.
You're a non-Jew and you don't fight anti-Semitism. I don't even care if people like Jews. I care if people hate Jews. You don't like Jews? Don't like Jews? Fine. It doesn't. Everybody has a pet.
It's for your own good, because if you hate Jews, you're going to get raped just like Germany did. That's the implication, right? I don't care if people don't like Jews, as long as they don't hate them. Because if they hate them, you're going to get what Germany got. Why? Because they're God's favorite people. You can't mess with us because you'll be punished.
Group that they may not like. Okay, the Germans didn't like the Poles didn't like the Russians don't like the Ukrainians. Everybody dislikes his neighbor. The British didn't like the Irish didn't like the British. It doesn't mean a damn thing. Jokes I used to hear that were called Polish jokes, when I went to England, the exact same jokes, but it was the Irish. The exact same joke. That was what was so funny about it. So it's dislike or don't like and hate. They're a very, very, very different thing. If a man can say Hitler was a good man, he is a sick.
Hitler was a good man.
He's a sick puppy. I mean, there's something very scary about such a human being. And by the way,
you're a sick puppy, RJ.
I love Hitler.
Something scary about you, dude.
I got a copy of Mein Kampf. Prop it up my Focusrite.
Told you, Wignat.
A Jew to be offended by that. If somebody
and
said
a Bible right next to it,
I would think the person is a sick puppy too. And it wasn't Jews who Stalin went after mostly. He killed 6 million, 5 million Ukrainians deliberately, plus 30 million Russians in general. But how many Americans died fighting Hitler? Isn't that an insult to all the Americans who died in World War II? Oh, Hitler was, oh, really? So these Americans died in vain. If Hitler was a good...
Yes, correct. And it's your fault, you Jewish
good guy, then your grandparents who died or fought, they died in vain. They fought in vain. They got blinded or shell-shocked in vain.
Yeah, that's true. And it's terrible. And you're sitting here trying to capitalize off of that. And you didn't deserve the help that we gave you. And you're a bad person. And I don't hate anybody, but I really don't like you.
We dislike you. We can hate you.
I dislike you with an acute dislike.
So much that I can't promise I would not punch you in the face.
Yeah, I'm not a fan, Dennis.
Dennis. Sounds emasculating when you call him Dennis. That's your gay name. Sorry for any Dennises in the chat. I know shots fired. But this guy, I think it's warranted.
But people don't have they don't have either courage or a moral compass to distinguish between good and bad. So you don't like Jews, you don't like Jews, fine. I'm not asking you. As I said, I'm repeating myself. Forgive me. But hating Jews is a very bad thing.
Dennis, what's the difference between a Jew saying there are still people who hate Jews versus a black a person on the left saying there are still people who hate blacks?
Yes, there are people who hate blacks. That's correct. But there are people who hate every group.
But it's especially bad if you hate Jews.
Therefore, what? The question is how many? What percentage of whites in America hate blacks? It's tiny. The percentage is tiny. Okay? what was it? Larry Elder, who he could reel off these statistics. If you woke him up at 3 a.m., he's gifted in that way. I'm not gifted in that way to know statistics by heart, but he shows how many whites voted for Obama, and that. What was it? The percentage of whites who voted for Obama was smaller than the percentage of whites who voted for some white candidate. I don't remember what it was. This is the least racist, multi-ethnic country on the face of the earth in the history of the world. Here's a statistic no kid at Harvard knows. Okay, at Harvard, I'm picking the creme de la creme, and that is that ask a kid at Harvard. How many black slaves were brought to the United States in the transatlantic slave trade? And then ask them, how many blacks came to the United States voluntarily in the last 50 years? The first one is 360,000. The second number is 3 million. Are they stupid, by the way? If America is systemically racist, every black who...
Okay, how's this an answer to the question? This is just like a weird answer.
Jewish incoherent ramble.
Moves here is an idiot. You can't have it both ways. And as I always say, any Jews moved to Germany in the 1930s? Not one, right? Because that was systemically racist. Blacks moved to the United States because it's the best country on earth for a black to live, period. And they know it. Only the left denies it.
What was the number again? 360 and 3 million?
360,000 versus 3 million. That's correct. And, I take a risk with any one of these numbers because if it's wrong, I lose my reputation. But I've been broadcasting 40 years, and truth is my number one goal. Those are the data. And you know where I got the data on the 3 million from? William Safire in the New York Times in the 1980s. That's the amazing thing. That's where I got it.
Last thing here, a couple minutes. So, Holocaust, you got slavery, okay? We're not comparing two different tragedies, so that's not what we're going to be doing. We're not sitting here and saying which is worse, which is this.
Come on, why not? Let's do it. Let's compare.
Slavery was objectively worse.
I would. By the way, I believe in gradations of evil. True. Slavery is despicable and evil, but Holocaust in the final analysis, you could at least live. In the final analysis, the Jews weren't slaves. Jews would have given their right arm to be slaves.
Oh, the final analysis.
Oh, we all know Jews love to work.
At least it was worse. At least for them, they get to live.
That's where they're all running our civil rights movements.
So it was worse. Yeah. I'm not going to say one was worse, but with ours, people died.
It was real.
They were exterminated. There is a difference, and people need to know that. I do make moral distinctions. If we don't, we lose our humanity.
That's not the question I was going to. My question:
if you don't believe in the Holocaust, you're not human.
Question wasn't that. My question was going to be, why after such a dramatic event that happened to Jews, okay, with the intentions of wanting to eliminate every single Jew on the face of the planet,
your mind is Israeli-occupied territory.
I wonder what he's going to say. He said that's not the question I was going to ask.
What Hitler's vision was, right? Why is it years later, after a crisis like that, what values and principles helped Jews pretty much own Hollywood, do well in business, do well in life?
Well, I'll tell you, I have the answer for it.
Yeah.
They didn't see themselves as victims. It is the most paralyzing thing in black life, what the left is doing to blacks. The left hates you blacks. No, they don't hate you. They have contempt for you. Telling you you're a victim is paralyzing. Jews did not walk around thinking they're victims even after the Holocaust.
Why not?
Because they knew it is completely self-destructive.
How did they know?
I don't know. It's a great... well, maybe because of the Jewish tradition has always been, we take responsibility for our own suffering.
So why would the media try to target the Jews to make them feel victims? How come they didn't succeed with Jews?
The media doesn't have contempt for Jews. It has contempt for blacks. Why not,
though? Why not?
Because the left has contempt for blacks. Because they use
Who runs the media?
Don't use Jews.
Why? Why can't they use Jews? If they can use any sect, they would do it. So why can't they use Jews?
Well, Jews are disproportionately on the left. I mean, there's no way around it. So
the left hates you blacks. Wait a minute. It doesn't hate you. The left has contempt for you blacks. Well, Jews are disproportionately on the left. Interesting.
In effect, there's no
Pause for a sec.
need.
Notice how all these Jews wanted Ye to be their pet. They were gassing him up as like, this is our based black, you at the turning point invitation, and then all of a sudden when he started naming the Jew and hanging around Nick Fuentes, somebody should shut this guy up. I find it ironic that all these Jews, they talk about, well, the left Jews want to control blacks. It's not all of us. We're not all just massive manipulators and controllers. Okay, let's see what Ben Shapiro and Dennis Prager are all saying about Ye now.
To keep
They already
Jews
have him, in a sense.
Yeah, in a sense, yes.
I got you. Interesting.
I'm sorry to say.